Electrolyte replacement, so electrolytes are just the minerals a horse loses in its sweat. They're incredibly important in the body for all sorts of reasons. So if they get deficient, they have all sorts of horrible things start to go wrong. So your main electrolytes are sodium, chloride, potassium and magnesium. And proper rehydration is actually not possible without also replacing the electrolyte. So you can't just rehydrate a horse with water, you need to also make sure they get their electrolyte replacement. So your main ways to replenish electrolytes lost are, firstly, just make sure the daily diet is meeting requirements for electrolytes. So make sure that there's enough sodium and chloride and potassium in the daily diet. Provide free access to plain salt, and you can do that with a salt block. But if your horse needs a lot of salt, I'd suggest using just loose rock salt, because a horse's tongue is really, really soft. And they actually get quite sore tongues when they lick a salt block. Salt blocks are really designed for cattle, and I don't know, we used to show cattle a lot when I was younger. I used to have ones that were very friendly and they'd lick you, and if a cow licks you, they've got a very, very rough tongue. Whereas a horse, you know, the tongues are really soft, so they can't actually lick a lot of salt off a block because it hurts their tongue. So plain, just loose rock salt, and then they can pick it up and eat mouthfuls of it if they need to. Feed plenty of forage, because forage is a really rich source of potassium and magnesium, so it's a really valuable electrolyte source. And then use a good quality electrolyte supplement on days when sweat losses are high. So during really hot, humid weather, or the days that you work your horses really hard, that's when you'd look at using an electrolyte supplement. If you're adding salt and electrolytes to your horse's feed and he stops eating, it's possibly because you're exceeding requirements for those nutrients. And then they make the feed taste horrible. So has anyone had to politely eat something that was made too salty by someone? It's kind of hard to get through too much of it because it starts tasting really foul. So it's the same thing for your horse. So if you've got a horse that stops eating a feed that he was normally happy to eat, and you're adding salts and your electrolytes to the feed, just take the salt and the electrolyte out for a few days and see if that helps with the appetite. And if it does, it was probably just because the feed was too salty for him. Beware of poorly formulated electrolyte supplements. So I'll just put this up here really quickly. This is EasiLite, so Pryde's electrolyte, and this is another product that is so commonly used. But if you compare, say, the three most important electrolytes, sodium, chloride and potassium, the EasiLite per kilo has got 225 grams of sodium. This product's only got 120 grams. The chloride in Pryde's one is 451 grams. This one's only got 126 and 110 grams of potassium versus 13. So this is a lot of glucose and probably a lot of limestone to get this calcium level up, which is a really cheap ingredient, and not very much of the stuff that you're actually chasing as an electrolyte supplement. So as an electrolyte, it does a rubbish job, and yet it's used very, very commonly. So if you're looking at electrolytes, go through and actually add up the amount of mineral that they've got in them, and it should be more than 800 grams per kilogram of the electrolyte minerals that you're after. If it's less than that, you're buying very fancy, expensive glucose with a bit of other stuff added to it, and salt.